Hello, this is Dr. Melody Harris Barrow. Welcome to Love, Truth, and Peace, especially to those that's watching this show from the United States and around the world. I would like to welcome all of you to today's broadcast. This show was created to equip nations and people with the knowledge and tools they need to improve, create, build, prosper, and change their environment that they can effectively lead to a better future. Today's topic, sisterhood, from Africa to the diaspora. I just can't wait. And to discuss, I would like to introduce, well, my co-host is supposed to be on in a few, Marcellus Hall, and our guest, Licenciada Urena Bess, General Director of the National Secretary for the Department of the Afro-Panamanian from Panama. Michelle Malcolm is a veteran journalist, talk show host, and certified holistic health coach from the Bahamas. Omotola Fawumni, President of Rescue African in Slavery Organization from Nigeria. And Folakemi Phillips is a brand storyteller, creative coach, and consultant, and she's also from Nigeria. Welcome, ladies. How are you doing today?
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, very good, very good. We have a lot to talk about, and we're hoping that our audience shared this show. You can go ahead and share the show with your friends and with organizations, because we are going to have an awesome conversation with our sisters from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am going to start definitely with Michelle. Michelle from the Bahamas. I'm going to tell you something. We have met years ago. We have met, and you have been doing some great things. And even though you're from the Bahamas, you are a soulful sister. We have no clue whether you're from the Bahamas or Africa or Panama, because we all pretty much, you can't tell. So tell me about what you're presently doing today.
Oh, before I go there, we have a saying in the Bahamas, all we is one.
Yay! And that's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
All is one.
All we is one.
We're gonna have fun today. We're gonna have fun. All of we is one.
Yes, ma'am. Well, as you said, Doc, I'm a veteran journalist. I have put over 30 years of my life into the field of broadcast journalism, and that will always be my first love. I'm currently hosting a talk show here in the Bahamas called The Paradigm Shift, which airs on Guardian Radio every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and we talk about current affairs and issues that are affecting the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you, my life in journalism has afforded me some amazing opportunities. I'm also very active in pageantry. I am the president of the Miss Bahamas organization, and we are the producers of the Miss World pageant, Miss World Bahamas pageant. And that too has afforded me some amazing opportunities. But I have to tell you, this new chapter of my life that is now unfolding is perhaps the most exciting, because as I tell people,
doesn't it feel good?
It feels good to be able to reinvent yourself. I tell people that I am now in the business of shortening prayer lists and helping to make people's dreams come true. And that is what I do as a certified holistic health coach.
Reinventing ourselves as women. I'm going to tell you, that feels so good.
Yes, you have to be able to reinvent yourself.
Yes. We are going to go over to Miss Phillips. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, Miss Phillips is from Nigeria. And
yes.
A little bit about yourself, sis. Tell me a little bit. Yes.
Right. My name is Folakemi Phillips. I'm a brand storyteller, which means I write and I work with different people to help them put together their stories and also create digital campaigns for brands, for people, for businesses, basically to improve visibility and also position them for profitability. And in my free time, I like to work with other people to identify their, core area, or let's just say their area of creativity, their creative sides, and help them to spin it into something that helps
Yeah,
them to live a fulfilled life,
that's right.
basically.
That's good. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Thank
And now,
you.
my sister from also from Nigeria, Omatola, tell me a little bit
Yay!
about yourself, Mama.
Hey, Mama. Thank you for having me. Um, it's always a joy to come on your program and meet amazing people. So it's a honor to meet you, Falake. It's a honor to meet you, Michelle. And has she come in? Urena. I'm not
And
sure she
yeah,
has come
I'm
in.
hoping that Urena can join us and can,
Join us in.
yes,
Okay.
because she was having some technical difficulties. So I'm
Oh, wow.
praying that she comes back. That's an awesome woman from
Okay.
Panama. She's awesome. She's doing a lot of great things for the community. And I'm hoping that she can fix the technical problems that she's going through. Let me tell you,
Okay.
for those of you that don't know, I am from Panama City, Panama. I am a woman of African descent, proud to be. I have been working for a while to connect Africa and the diaspora. And one of the great missions is to connect women like yourself together, because we have some great things in store for many. We are going to unite the world. And here we have Urena again. Let's see if she can hear us. I'm going to just let her get adjusted. Can you hear me, Urena?
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very,
Good.
Thank you.
let's give her a hand.
Good.
She was able to come back. Yes,
Welcome.
my beautiful
Welcome back.
Panama. Just tell me something. Tell me the things that you do, that you're doing in Panama at this present time, as an introduction. Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I am. Thank you for the invitation. I am Morena Vez from Panama. I'm the General Director or the National Secretary for the Development of Afro-Panamanian. And the work that we are doing right now is working with the communities, with the civil society organization, to try to promote the human rights of Afro-descendants, and also to try to have a right response for this situation for the COVID-19. So we are
Yes.
working really close with the government and with other organizations that are allied of the process.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Now let's get to talking, ladies. I want to talk. Now, let's talk about the fact that you ladies are from Africa and we are what they call the diaspora. We're from the diaspora. And Michelle is from the Caribbean, and Urena and I are from Latin America, Central America. I want us to talk about the difference between us. Is there a big difference between us when you talk about culture, when you talk about, the things that we go through as women? I want us to talk about, are we different? Because you're from Africa and I'm from Panama and Michelle is from the Caribbean. I want you to take that question, Michelle. We're all going to answer.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Well, I've had an opportunity to really travel around the world and meet women from many different cultures. And I have to tell you that there are more things that make us similar and more things that unite us than there are that separate us.
Mm-hmm.
Some years ago, I had an opportunity to travel to South Africa. And during my visit there, they took us to the village where Nelson Mandela grew up. And it was such a surreal experience because everything that we experienced there, the food, the music, it was
Yes.
all something different,
Yes.
but it was exactly what I experienced here in the Bahamas. And I
Yes.
thought, my God, I am home.
Yes.
And that extends so much beyond just food and music and culture. But so
Mm-hmm.
much of what made the women of Africa who they are has been passed on through the
Mm-hmm.
generations. And
Yes.
so even though I'm on the other side of the world,
Yes.
Africa is still very much a part of who I am.
Yes.
And I believe that is what makes us so similar. Even though we have different cultures and different experiences, we are still so very much the same. So
Right.
very much.
Yeah, when I was in Ghana, I felt as though I was like home. You know, I didn't feel as though that I was somewhere foreign. I felt as though that I was home. The people were very nice. The food, my God, the food was good. And they cook similar to how we cook. But the very interesting thing is this. We have to really say this. The fact that in spite of it all for many, many, many years, right? For many years, centuries, I should say. Let's put it to you, centuries. How we were able to keep the culture
Mm.
in Latin America and the Caribbean and in the world. I find that amazing. The culture, the dance, almost everything. We are,
And and and
yes,
Doc, this is in spite of efforts to strip us of that identity.
hey,
Think
you
about that now.
understand. You understand.
Okay.
You have changed my name, Europeans. You have changed my name.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
you have stripped me from most of everything that I had, but we were still able to hold on.
That's right.
You know, that's powerful, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That is damn powerful.
When you really think about it.
And still trying to strip us.
That's right.
And still
That's
trying
right.
to strip us. So in spite of all of that, my sister Phillips, um, we were still able to keep what you are enjoying today as well.
Yes.
So what I want to let the audience know that in spite, because when you're looking at the four of us right now, Udena will be back in a minute. When you look at all of us right here, the four women here, you cannot tell whether I'm from Latin America, whether you're from the Bahamas, where these two beautiful women are from Nigeria. We are just women, period. And we love each other. When you see, we have to get out of the fact that what everyone else is saying, just because you don't get along with one Nigerian doesn't mean it's for everyone. You understand? I get along with Omotola. Omotola and I work very well together. You understand? And she's giving it all and I'm giving it all. We are sisters. We are sisters. And I'm going to give the floor to Omotola because you can tell us when you met me, when we met.
Yes.
How did you, I mean, was I different from your sisters in Nigeria? Just tell the audience because I would
No
like.
way. I remember we met at an event, a speaking event, and I heard you. I remember you opened that speech, and I went, "Whoa, you're just speaking to my soul." And shortly after that, we connected, and we have continued to talk.
Yeah.
And there's always something to share. We find, I mean, what I really see is that there's so much that we share as human beings and as women.
Yeah.
And if we focus on what unites us, we would spend less time on what divides us.
Wow.
Truth is, we all want to be loved. We all want to be affirmed. We all want to be validated. We all want to be part of a supportive community.
Yeah.
And if we focus on identifying those needs and then choosing to be part of those who provide those needs to other people, other women like us from around the world is stronger, the world is healthier for it. Some of the things that break us up as women are things like, comparing each other, talking about, again, the things that divide us. This person is better than me. This person is richer than me. What's her name? Falakemi and I belong to a group of women who continue to encourage each other and say, when I met Falakemi as well. I remember it was at an event, so she was a speaker at that event, and we got along. And I recall immediately after that event, she kept saying, "You need to write your story. You need to." She's been on my neck. You need to get this story out. And I can call her at any time of the day, literally. I've called her to share. I've called her sometimes I have an idea. She too would call me and we could speak. And it's usually an exchange of value. We leave each other strengthened. I see the same experience when I speak to Dr. Barrow. I feel lifted. I constantly love her energy. You know that, Mama?
Thank you.
I love to talk to you. I love her voice notes when she sends them. And there's just some strength that I think we can transfer to each other if we focus on what can I give, how can I make this person's life better? And it doesn't matter what part of the world we are.
I want to make a comment here. There's a Norma Roper. She says, I haven't yet traveled to Africa, but I am hoping to travel there with my family. How do you debunk the myths that we are different? Until I started watching Nollywood, I watch it too. I would never have known about the similarities of our cultures, from the food, the courageous body, or even the drive for our offspring to strive for excellence. We are all the same, yet some people just want to divide and conquer. And that is so true. Thank you for that comment. And for the comment that the other person made, you said, those 4 women do not look the same. We're not saying that we look the same. What we are saying is that we are women of African descent. And if you look at us, you will not be able to identify us as to what country we are from. So that's why I said what I said. So Ms. Phillips, tell me about your experience, because as Ms. Roper says, and she's from Panama, I know her very well, we in Panama, and I have to go back and talk about my experience. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to speak from my experience, because we tend to, when we speak about our experience, people are saying, no, that's not the way it was, but that was not your experience. So I just want to clarify that now. I want to tell this story because it was very profound and it stuck with me. I was in the 9th grade, and in my accounting class, a white teacher, a young lady walked in the class, one of my colleagues, she walked in the classroom and her hair was braided. And back then, you could braid your hair. You had to press your hair. You had to straighten your hair. And he called her a Zulu. And he told her to get out of his class. He said it like this: you're nothing but a Zulu. Get out of my class. And I found that was interesting, but no one in the classroom knew what a Zulu was. I did not. I'm like, what is a Zulu? We were all confused, but he knew my history. The problem was I didn't know my history.
Wow.
So I went home and I asked my grandfather, what is a Zulu? And he said to me, well, the only thing I know about the Zulus, they were the last tribes that the European conquered. So that's all he knew. That's because we were not taught. We're not taught our African history in Panama and in Latin America and in many, many countries. So the next day, I wanted my mother to braid my hair because I wanted him to call me a Zulu, because I feel if they were the last person to conquer, that sounds good to me, but that's all I knew. So when I went to class, he didn't call me a Zulu, but he sent me to the principal office and told the principal to call my mother for me to get a whooping. But until today, I feel so proud of him calling her a Zulu, and I didn't get a chance for him to call me a Zulu. But when I came to the United States, when I was 16 years old, the first thing I did was to find out about the Zulus. So what I'm trying to say, Africans in Africa, you yourself don't have your history intact because you were colonialized. So I want Ms. Phillips to tell us about your school system, what you were taught. Were you taught more about your history, or were you taught more about the colonializers' history?
Oh, okay. So the truth is, I taught about the colonial masters' history,
Yes.
really. But somehow we also had some teachers who, went out of their way to also educate us about our own history. And our parents also played their part, to try
Yes.
and maybe take us to the village, would drive through different places, and they will try to educate us about, oh, look at this place, this is what happened here. You need to know about this. You need to know about the president. You need to know about, different people. And I must say that sometimes I feel like a portion of our history has been wiped out, because of
Yes.
the need to retell certain stories from a particular perspective. I don't want to go into details about our artifacts, our what's it called now, artworks that have been, moved to other places and given some form of, maybe being renamed, or somehow I feel like until we get to the root of our different histories,
Yes.
as it were, we may not be able to, identify certain places where we have some measure of similarity. Let me put it in perspective. So
Yes.
last year I traveled to the UK for a film program, and I met a number of women. We all connected. There was someone from Belgium. There was someone who was Ghanaian, but the only thing that was really Ghanaian about her was her name. And we had this conversation about identity. And, at first I was like, oh, you're African. And, we went on and on. And by the time we finished that conversation, I realized that, there's a lot of diluting, going on when it comes to the different expressions of our
Right.
history. And, but one thing stood out for me. We all sat there at about, I think, 11 p.m. UK time, but we're there for about an hour, 30 minutes, just connecting, just because we were women. It didn't matter that, we had different things going on in our heads. It didn't matter that, maybe some people didn't really understand their background, as it were, but we all connected. And one thing that really shines through is the fact that, in spite of how history has been reworked or rewritten, or our stories have been told differently for a certain reason or to push a particular agenda, what really matters is how we are able to identify the things that unite us and then lean on that to create some form of community. I've been in touch with every single, everyone, all the three women that I met last year. We are still in touch till now.
Very good.
So that says a lot.
Very, very good. Very good. Now we're gonna go back to Urena, and I'm so happy that you're back because I need you on this show. I need you, Mama. I need you.
Thank you. Thank you for the patience.
Yes. I want you to express your experience as a Black woman in Panama. Could you share that with us?
Yes. Thank you. First of all, thank you for the patience, as I said.
No problem.
Okay. Being a Afro descendant in Panama, a Black woman, is a very interesting thing in a country that is really diverse, like Panama. We are a really small country, but at the same time we have a lot of culture, and that is very positive. However, in my case, I am from Colón, and Colón is one of the province with most Afro-descendant population in the country and also in Central America. So me growing in Panama was in Colón was like normal. But when I had the experience to go to the city and see all these different culture and realize that it wasn't the same, be in Panama that live in Panama that live in Colón was very challenging for me. I have to, for me, what I have like a cultural shock because I realized I was different. My values, my principle, a lot of things that my parents taught me, I realized that wasn't the same in Panama, in the city. So, like for example, I always share that I have two African names. And it's funny because she was sharing about someone that have an African name, and that's the only thing that maybe the person have from
Right.
Africa. So, but from the when since the moment I have the chance to realize my existence in the world, my parents teach me about loving my culture, loving my heritage, my ancestrality, and everything. But it's been very interesting, and we have a lot of challenge. We advance a lot through the time, but we still have a lot of challenge. Me myself, I found myself fighting with a security guard last week in a pharmacy because he was chasing me or stopping me in the store because he thought I was a criminal for the color of my skin. Yeah.
Oh my
And I'm a very people know me in my country. I used to work on TV. I'm a lawyer. People know I'm a serious person, but that when we have a structural racism, maybe that is not that important. So we still have a lot of things in common that we need to transform in the world. We need to keep having these powerful conversations to learn from each other experience. And it's a lot. You know, for me, it was exhausting having this conversation with this security guard that is also black or Afro, trying to explain to him that what he was doing to me was wrong because, you know, we are like brothers
yes,
and sister. And
yes,
so, but in other aspect, it's good for me. I had to say it's good for me to be Afro because it's always require more from myself. In the personal and professional life, I had to give more. I know people say it's not fair, but for me, I feel that I'm a strong woman right now. I can face anything. I can bring a opportunity for my country and my community. And I think I think that is the result of all the obstacle and experience that I had to all the obstacles that I experienced in the past. So yes, Panama is amazing. We look forward to keep working with Caribbean countries and African countries. That is one of the biggest aspiration of the civil society. Reconnect with Africa, and I congratulate you, Melida, for all this work you've been doing to unite the Caribbean and Africa,
thank you.
empower people in business and commerce. That I think that is the future, that is the present, and we need to keep getting stronger in those aspects. So yeah, I have a lot of more to share, but I think that's it for
But
now.
that's awesome because one of the things that I'm also from Panama, and I when I travel back home, I honestly I spend most of my time arguing because as a black woman, a woman of African descent. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your title, your education. All they see is your color.
Exactly.
And we have to also understand that these countries, especially now during this pandemic, it's almost like a global attack on Black people. And I've had quite a lot of experiences in Panama because the color of my skin. So this is why I mean, even growing up, I honestly have to say, growing up, even in my home, I was told that, and I say this all the time, I was told to marry someone lighter than me to better my race. These are things that I was told. You either marry someone, a Panamanian, or someone lighter, or a white man. So that way we can uplift the race, we can uplift the family. So there has been a lot of things that I've experienced. My father working in Colon, because my parents are from Colon. I was just happened to born in Panama City. But I remember my father said that when he leaves the country, that he will never come back. He was he worked at a bank in Colon, and they were always passing him up for
Promotion.
yeah, and this is one of the things, sorry about that. This is one of the things that he was saying. He had to train someone to be his supervisor. Another thing in Panama that I would like to mention that a lot of people in the world don't know is that we can braid our hair to go to school or to work. We had to put our picture on our resume in order to get a job, because then that's when they'll know that you're Black. So one of the things that I would like to thank Urena and also the leaders in Panama, they fought very hard to make sure that these things doesn't happen. But Panama, there is a lot, there's racism, period. There's racism in all these Latin American countries, and also in the Caribbean as well. The lighter you are, the better opportunities that you get. Maybe Michelle can address that, but I've seen that in Jamaica. I have seen that in many places in the Caribbean. Would you like to address that, my sister?
Certainly. Here in the Bahamas, we are a predominantly Black nation. The majority of the people in this nation are Black, but yet there is still systematic racism. And here's what I mean by that. The founding fathers of our nation, we became independent in 1973. They fought to be able to create a middle class. They fought to be able to get people of color to work in the banks and be able to go into movie theaters that they couldn't go in before. They fought for those rights. And they achieved what we call here in the Bahamas and what we celebrate as majority rule. But while we have the political power, we still do not have the economic power.
Yes.
That is still being held on, clutched onto by a small group of people, the white people in this nation. And we do have some Blacks who have achieved great wealth, but the majority of the people who hold the majority of the wealth in this nation are still white people. And they are doing everything in their power to hold on to that economic power.
Yes.
So there is still systematic racism that exists.
Yes.
And we like to sing this kumbaya and everything is wonderful, and no, not in the Bahamas. But if you really look beyond what is happening on the surface, you will understand that it is still a problem for us. It is still a problem. We still experience where foreign is better. I will give you a quick example. Years ago, I was the assistant general manager of the national broadcasting station of the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And they asked me to put together a proposal about what we could do to make some major changes to the broadcasting system. And I sat down and I wrote what I thought was a very, very good proposal. And they accepted the proposal and they put it on the desk and it collected dust. A couple of years later, some people of a lighter hue from Canada were paid to come to the Bahamas to write a proposal of how broadcasting could be transformed. The only difference between what they presented and what I presented was the name on the cover of the document.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
But they were paid and respected for their work.
Yes. Yes.
So you see, it's this systematic racism that we still have to overcome. And it's no use we try to pretend it's not real. You know, you would have some people, every time I bring up these topics on my show, I get people who call and take offense and but it is what it is. And you cannot fix what you do not acknowledge.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So until we begin to be honest with ourselves,
Yes.
until we begin to call a spade and call it for what it is, we will never be able to fix the problem. And
Yes.
we are still being impacted by the remnants of slavery today. Because
Yes.
those have passed on from generation to generation.
Generation. That's right.
You gotta marry white, or you gotta marry to better.
Yes.
That's a remnant of
And they're
racism.
still doing it. They're still
Yes,
doing it. It's still
yes,
happening.
it
It is
is
still
still
happening.
happening.
Yes. Do
You
they do
know,
that in Africa? Do they do that in Africa? They do the same thing. You see that? Wow.
It's worse.
It's worse?
Yes, it's worse in the sense that we discriminate against ourselves.
Oh.
And yeah. And if I want to get, for example, if I'm trying to get a contract, just like Michelle mentioned, if I bring in a light-skinned person as my business partner, even though I have the competence, but by bringing in the light-skinned person, the chances of me getting that deal is higher than if I presented myself as the competent person. It is sad, but it's true.
Yes.
And it happens everywhere. And sometimes this person you're bringing is only acknowledged for the color of his skin, not his contributions, not anything he's providing. But you need that person to go into a meeting with you, sometimes with white-skinned people and sometimes with dark-skinned people, just to prove that you are credible. It is sad, but it's true.
My God.
I would also talk about the work I do currently. I'm a student studying for a master's program in organizational leadership. But one of the things I've committed to do in recent times is working in the field of human trafficking. And so speaking again about Africans and how we are treated is how in the Middle East, I was speaking with so we try to bring girls who have been trafficked, women who were sold into slavery, try to get them safely back home. Yesterday, I was speaking to a lady, well educated with a college degree, who was told she was going to teach English language in Saudi Arabia. And she paid about $1,300 to the person who ended up selling her into slavery. Arriving there, found out she was going to be a domestic slave, a maid serving an Arab family. And she said, these people treat me, I have no self-esteem. I no longer think I'm a person. I have actually forgotten I'm a college graduate and I have worth. And I had to encourage her. That was yesterday. But a worse one happened today, which was she called in and said, I'm from Oman. Again, I was told I was going to be teaching English and then I ended up being sold as a maid. She said, but you know what? I confronted my slave master asking, didn't they tell you these are my credentials? Didn't they tell you she has a degree in psychology and she works as a maid serving a family of 12? And she said, the man said, I specifically requested for an African who is a college graduate because you guys don't place value on yourselves.
Oh,
So
wow.
if we offer you anything, of course you're willing to show up. Any opportunity to come abroad, you will jump at it. She said when she was told about who her boss was, she was told this person owned the school. But arriving there, it turns out this man is a security man in that school.
Yes, yes, yes. That's amazing. My God.
You know?
Yeah. I want to touch, I want to answer this. She made this statement to the healer. How do you keep yourself lifted, grounded, and energized, irrespective of the negativity that we face as a Black woman, especially raising a future Black woman? Would you like to take that, Ms. Phillips?
Okay, so thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
For me, I believe that words are very powerful. I work
Yeah.
with words every other day, and I believe that you need to first of all confess to yourself what you believe. And in spite of what is going on out there, you need to get out of bed every morning and speak to yourself. Remind yourself of the kind of potential that you carry on the inside. Remind yourself of the kind of energy you want to, put out there. You want to share with the world. You want to share with people around you. Remind yourself of the investment that God has, put on your inside, and remind yourself that you have the power to rise above whatever confronts you. So in spite of what is going on out there, I believe that the best way to stay energized, the best way to rise above any situation is to confess positive and ensure that you are passing on positive energy to the next person. It might take some time, but you will still stand out strong. You'll be energized and you'll be able to function as God has created you to function.
Exactly. And I would like to add something also. How I am who I am today is because I've decided that I wanted to know who I am. I had to go back in time and I had to identify myself. Who am I? Am I the woman that the world defined? Or am I the woman that God created and already defined? So I had to separate myself from man and embrace myself with God. I had to build a relationship with God. I could not reach to this point when I can love my sisters until I love myself. I could not reach this point until I realized the economic disaster that we are going through in our community. I had to find a way in order to build an economic empowerment and development for people of African descent and also the indigenous people. In other words, in order for me to do all the things that Urena had mentioned, I had to start with me. I had to say, Mel, you have to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you are going to continue to be abused mentally, right? Because most women are being abused mentally. Most women are being raped. Most women are being physically abused. And that is because she have not gotten to that point to build that relationship with God, to get to know who she is. Because the religion and the God that man presented to me was a religion to oppress me, to oppress my mind. So therefore, I had to get to that point in order to find myself. And I'm going to leave this question also to Urena. What makes you get up every day, Urena, and do the things that you're doing as a woman of African descent? Because Urena she's always busy. I don't even know how she's on this show. She's always busy. She's always working with the youth. She works with everyone. So tell us, how do you do what you do in spite of all the things that are going on?
Thank you, Melida. Right. And you're right. I had to agree with you because every night I shared last week in a conference that every night I been on my knees and I pray to God and ask for the strength, for the wisdom to control my character, because we know we have a strong character. And deal with all the battles and the obstacle we face every day, and to enjoy life, because we always busy trying to help and make sure that our people from our community be good, be okay, but we sometimes we forget of ourselves. So that is very important. So my answer is God, praying to God. But I would like to share, Melly, something about what is happening now through my work. This is not the moment. I don't want to go too deep, but I come from a very hard past with my mother. She's a single mother. She raised 4 children, and I have the first one in my family, my brother and sister, that went to the university. So as soon as I become a lawyer, I always dream to help my community. And I'm glad to share now that what we're doing with the government right now, we advance in a lot of beautiful dreams of our ancestors. Like right now, the government include the Afro-descendant in the national
the governmental plan, and all these are achievement of the civil society. I just like one person, one little piece of that big structure.
Yes.
And also, I'm glad to share that we are working with tourism, the Minister of Tourism, who is building right now the Afro-descendant route to promote a cultural circuit in Afro-descendant community, to include Panama and promote the diversity of our country internationally. So I think that's very important. And what is happening, I would like to share very, very fast what is happening in the education. We are going to, we are about to make history, because we are going to transform the formal curriculum of in education, and we are going to include all the contribution of African and African descent in the education for children, teenagers, and people in the university. So we are really happy. We are super, super excited. And all these things are because God and our ancestor lead the path to here. And I'm so glad, and I feel honored every time I can serve to my community. So I would like to share that. And it's all about trusting in God, and remember that we have part of that power of transformation that He gave us. Every single one of us have that power of transform our reality. And as some people say, that we are the hero that I've been waiting for. We are that. We are the heroine. We are the heroes that are going to change our reality for future generations. So
one of the things I want to mention is that I think it's so important to let women in the world know we can work together in spite of where we're from. But it takes people that are willing to do so. And we have to change our mindset. That's the first step. Because you cannot automatically say you don't like someone from the Bahamas and you've never, this is what I'm trying to say to everyone. We should not dislike a whole country due to a bad experience that you had with a Bahamian, a Panamanian, a Nigerian. You know, Nigeria has this reputation, and they've always said to me, do not deal with anyone from Nigeria, because they don't realize, this is the thing, they don't realize that those that are oppressing us is telling us don't deal with Nigeria, but they are in the country, they colonialize the country, they're doing business in the country, but they're telling me, this black woman here, don't deal with Nigerians. That's the propaganda. You know why? Because while they're doing business in Nigeria, we're out of the game. So I am here to tell people, do business just like anywhere else. They act as though the United States is a heaven. You know, there are people, right, in the United States that have done fraud. They have done all sorts of things, but we still carry it to the altar. And we're saying it is the best country. But us, as they call third world countries, you know, we are looked down upon. So what I'm here to say is, I love my two sisters here from Nigeria, from Africa, and I have many other sisters from Africa that I love dearly, and I am going to continue to work with my sisters, and I want the world to see this. 5 of us are here, and we love each other. We are sisters. I just met Miss Phillips, and I love her. She's like a daughter to me now. And guess what? We're going to continue to work together. You know, don't think, you know, I'm way, way, way older than you. I can be your mother. So my point is, we're going to go into closing. And I want each and every one of you to let women know that, yes, we can work together. And what message do you have for them? I'll start with Michelle.
Well, we certainly can work together, ladies. We have been blessed by the Creator with this incredible gift called influence.
Yes.
That is built into who we are as women, the power to influence. And I would like to encourage all women, uh, whether in Africa or throughout the diaspora, to understand the power that lies therein, and let us resolve to use that power for good as opposed to for tearing each other apart. Because we have the power to influence leaders, we have the power to influence the children, the future of our nations. We have the power to influence every sphere that we enter, every arena, every world that we enter. We
Yes.
have the power to influence.
Yes.
I think it is high time that we bring that energy, that power together to build each other up. Empowering women, empower women. And I'm all on board. Let's Doc, you are the one who put us all together.
Yes. No, actually, I'm going to tell you what we're, yes, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do at the end, definitely.
Okay, all right.
Yes, honey, I don't bring people together for no reason. We have a lot of work to do, my lady.
All right, then.
Omotola. Yes.
Yes.
What are the news that you have for the women that are listening? What message do you have for them that, yes, we can work together?
Thank you very much. My biggest message would be that we have more than we can see. We are more powerful than we currently can see and can acknowledge. And if we leverage our competencies, leverage our strengths, strengthen each other, we will do things that last. We will build businesses that last. Women need to come together, collaborate, and build institutions. We should stop building small businesses, but start building conglomerates and corporations by uniting. Let's leverage our strengths. Let's share our networks. Let's build each other. One critical area I want to emphasize on is that a lot of women are hurting and end up hurting each other. But we can turn that around by spreading the gift of compassion. We can be more considerate. And so when someone lashes out, when a woman lashes out, our first instinct or first reaction should not be lashing back. Is to understand where is that pain coming from and how can I help you. I think that will help lift up a lot of people. A lot of people are going, a lot of women have been abused. A lot of women are walking trauma. A lot of women are walking directories or walking encyclopedias of pain. And we must be able to identify that and be the one who will take away some of that pain, strengthen this person, lift each other up, encourage someone who is trying to lose weight, tell her she can. Every day she puts in an effort, remind her that she's making progress. Support women. We can do so much together. We can. Yeah. It doesn't matter what part of the world we are in. And we can, and thank God for the internet and for technology. We can reach so many at once. Let's do this together. Let's do this.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Phillips?
Thank you.
As always, I'll say one thing.
Yes.
If you walk into a room and you begin to tell a particular story about yourself, you'll find 5, 6, 7 other women who will also relate with that story and begin to share theirs as well. I believe that the beauty of the internet, because most times I'm always online because I work, I do a lot of storytelling for creative and digital campaigns. I believe that that social media offers us that opportunity to connect, to share our stories, and have that heart-to-heart conversation even when we don't know each other from anywhere. Yes. So I want to encourage us as women to do all we can to share our stories, to help the next person go through a particular phase that they are going through, because we have gone through that phase, by sharing our stories with them. It is easy for us to connect when we share our stories. So I want to encourage you out there. I want to thank you, Dr. Melinda, for bringing me on board. I'm so honored, and I believe that this will, open up some more opportunities to work together and move the ministry forward.
Amen.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. My sister Urena.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for all those messages. Beautiful, powerful. I would like to say that we know that we live in a very complex world. We know we're going to have to deal with discrimination and racism for a long time. But the thing is that we cannot allow discrimination and injustice define who we are, define our dreams, and make us stop pursuing our goals and dreams. And we are part of a global family, global community, as you say, Melida, and we need to celebrate each other all the time, because and we are Superwoman, Wonder Woman, and our biggest power is love. So with that, we can do everything.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, the show came to an end. And first of all, I would like to thank my sisters, and I proved tonight that yes, women, we can work together. And my message to women out there is that you are powerful. You don't realize how powerful you are, many of you, but you're powerful. One of the things that I discovered years ago was the fact that mothers spend more time with the children more so than the fathers. So, one of the things that we fail to do sometime is to teach our children, mold our children to also be presidents of nations, astronauts. I mean, it does not cost to plant those seeds in our children. Give them something to think of. Give them something, because oftentimes in our communities, we are only telling our children they can be the basketball player and the superstar and things like that. No, they can be other things, but sometimes in certain communities, this is the ticket to come out of the ghetto. This is the ticket to come out of their community, whatever it may be. But I think it's time for us as mothers now to instill and teach our children more than just playing basketball, more than just being a movie star. There's so much in the world that can be done by women. Women, we also have to go back and we have to build that relationship with God. We have to unveil the illusion of this world and begin now to look at ourselves in that mirror and say to ourselves, I'm a powerful woman. Now I know who I am. We have to go back and thank God for us being who we are. All of you that's on this program, you are doing great things in your community. And let me tell you, we can see it. The world can see what we're doing. We just have to go and pull these other women up, and we have to let them know we are going to teach you all that we know. After this program, I have another program. It starts at 8:15 Eastern time. You see, I don't stop. I keep going. I keep going. You know, I'm like a little machine. And my husband, he always say, what? You have another show? I say, yes, I got to keep going. Tomorrow is not promised. So at 8:15, I have another show Eastern time, and it's on Facebook. The Facebook page is called Women Celebrating Each Other. And that is what we're supposed to do. Women celebrating each other. I want to thank all of you, Michelle, Miss Phillips, Urena, and Omotola. I really want to thank all of you. I love you all, and may God bless you. And I want to thank the audience for watching. Besos, besos, besos. Amor, amor, amor.
Thank you, Melida.
Yeah, thank you all. Oh, and this
Thank
is the
you so
plan.
much.
I have to tell you about the plan. The plan is that I am working and on bringing all women in the world, all of you, and God gave me that because what it is that we are not communicating with each other. And we have to build a pool of women that does business, NGOs, all these different things, because we scattered all over the place. So my job has always been connecting Africa and the diaspora. And I added the indigenous people. So, and anybody else. But the focus is that. Why? Because we are outside in the wilderness looking to see how we can get help. We're also coming soon with something very powerful. I can't share it with you guys yet, but next month I will, where we're all going to be doing business with each other. Because we cannot depend any longer on governments. We cannot any longer depend on us sitting waiting for anyone to give us the opportunity. We have to take it. We have to take the opportunities, and we have to help our sisters like Urena when she's talking about all these projects she's doing. We have to get those investors in order to build what she's doing, what Miss Otola is doing, what you are doing, Michelle, and also Phillips, and the rest of the women in the world. So once again, I want to thank you all, and I would let everyone know to go on my page, Women Celebrating Each Other, and that's where it's going to start. Signed up there, and then we can share each other's businesses. You can promote your business on that page. You can do whatever necessary in order for us to come together. Yes. So I'll see you guys at 8:15, and thank you. I love you guys.
Love you too,
love you too.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.